Of all the episodes we've seen, this owner needed the most help on bar rescue. While some people know exactly how to run their business, others need help figuring out how to succeed. Just like this owner, who was in a deep pool of debt and wouldn't have made it out without Taffer's timely help. In the 4th season of Bar Rescue, viewers were introduced to Sissy Shui, the owner of Filling Pub Station, which was later renamed to something else, but we'll get into that later. Anyway, going all the way back to December of 2003, Shui decided to move from Hong Kong to California with a dream of giving her son a better education and future. Shui ventured out in hopes of finding her American dream, but things were way more difficult than she'd expected. Without initially realizing it, Shui faced a very big problem.
So hard for me. I don't know English. People always take advantage of me.
But after nearly struggling for a whole decade, finally in 2013, she bought her first bar in San Diego. Shui genuinely had pure intentions in her heart, but somewhere along the way, things got lost in translation. Shui did have one huge advantage which should have ideally made her bar very successful: the location. Being situated right across the Marine Corps Air Station, Miramar, the bar had no shortage of customers. In the Filling Station Pub's prime, the business was doing incredibly well and even made $60,000 a month in revenue. Shui also spoke about how the location was really important to her and that there was a true meaning behind it. She revealed that her son Lenny was now in the Air Force and it felt like she was closer to him. How cute! Since most of her regular customers were Marine men, Shui decided it would be best to hire female bartenders to attract in more customers. Pretty obvious, right? And she was pretty confident that her gimmick would work. However, this plan seemed to backfire. The staff she hired lacked experience, and she never even took the time to train them. As a result, Shui had unknowingly put her business into the hands of an ineffective staff who only knew how to joke around during their working hours. This carefree behavior, however, didn't sit well with the owner, who believed in hard work and commitment. Their lack of effort and nonchalant attitude towards their work made her so angry that she even started firing bartenders on the spot right in front of everyone else. She would simply ask them to go home, come collect their paycheck the next day, and that was it. Since the staff's reckless and carefree behavior didn't stop, she installed 16 CCTV cameras just so she could keep an eye on them. And every time she saw someone even making the tiniest of mistakes, she would reprimand them or straight up kick them out. In one instance, Shui, who was looking at the live footage from her home, called her employee Rosa and shouted at her for texting on her phone. But listen to what else she said.
Hey Rosa, what are you doing? Cannot do the text. Okay, sorry. I don't want to see that happen again.
One of the bartenders even admitted that she wasn't a professional bartender, and Shui was well aware of their antics. At the time that this episode was being taped, Shui owed her father over $400,000 and her bar was losing over $15,000 every month. If you ask me, she wouldn't have been in this much debt if she just looked after the bar like an owner should. But no, she needed to watch the CCTV footage instead. With time, Shui started to abandon her other important duties at the bar and just kept firing her staff for the smallest of infractions. This led to a poor morale, inefficient service, and inconsistent employees. Imagine working at a place where you have absolutely no job security and where the owner spies on you as you work. That's pretty creepy, right? So this eventually led to the Filling Station Pub's reputation going into the garbage. And along with it, both the customers and profits stopped flowing into the business. While Shui installed cameras in hopes of keeping her staff in check, what it did instead was drive away the hardworking bartenders. And this gave way to employees who would often leave in between their shifts to have shots in the bathroom or go for a smoke break. Heather, the manager of the pub, revealed that most of the Marines wanted to come back to familiar faces, but since Shui kept firing her staff, there was almost a new bartender every time they returned. And since getting to know new people can be pretty tedious, they just wouldn't come back. The manager also mentioned that none of the employees really respected Shui and that they often laughed at her for her behavior. When one of them really got under Shui's skin, she asked her to leave, but the bartender was unfazed. You can see an employee smiling even though she was being fired. And this shows exactly how little they respected the owner. She became the butt of all of their jokes. It was clear that none of the employees actually stayed long enough in the bar to even be properly trained. This was such a disappointment because if they did, the bar would have done very well. Finally, with no other option in sight, Shui reached out to Jon Taffer, hoping that he could rescue her and her sinking ship before it was too late. Later on, when Taffer arrived, he wasn't impressed at all. He noticed that the interior design was drab and completely unwelcoming to those who came in. When they ordered a Long Island iced tea, the bartender served them some other pink drink instead, and this confused the hell out of the spies. It was safe to say that the bartenders definitely lacked cocktail making skills of any kind solely based on this situation alone. Taffer was even more shocked to find Shui drinking with the customers, and her staff were busy doing this in the restroom.
they're smart because there's no cameras in the bathroom.
To make matters even worse, one of the bartenders told the customer that she would vomit on him if he kept talking. And this is how the shocked customer replied.
I'm about to vomit on you if you keep talking.
He sarcastically said this.
God, I'm coming back tomorrow.
Yes, thank you.
So now it should be clear why this bar was losing customers, right? But let's not forget this moment Taffer captured when watching live footage from his SUV. Out of nowhere, one of the drunk bartenders started to dance on the bar counter, and you won't believe what happened next. She actually hit her head on the ceiling fan, but nobody cared enough to help her. Taffer had had enough. This place was meant to be doomed. When Taffer decided to confront Shui, she instantly began criticizing her crew and blamed them for the bar's failure. She was doing this in order to evade Taffer's questions, but he knew better. After everything he had seen thus far, Taffer asked the bartenders to make one simple drink, a Manhattan. As they looked around the bar, one of the bartenders clearly stated that she didn't know what ingredients the drink needed, to which Taffer said this.
Is this right to pour the vermouth into this glass?
No.
Okay, so get out from behind the bar because you don't know what the hell you're doing.
Out of the 6 bartenders, only 3 actually made the drink, and to no surprise, this is how they turned out to be.
I have one drink, and they are all different.
Taffer then went on to list all the major problems with the bar, and most of them had to do with Shui. She didn't know what went into the refrigerator, nor did she communicate with her staff. Really, the only thing she did was blame them for her failure. But nothing could prepare you for how she counters Taffer's accusation. What she says next will make your jaws drop to the floor.
Have you ever been bar business? How much bar experience you have?
Come on, did she actually question Taffer, the bar genius, on his experience in the bar industry? This left almost everyone around them absolutely stunned. Anyway, Taffer decided to go through what he was there for and walked into the kitchen for a deeper inspection. That's when he came across this.
What's going on back here?
This entire floor is filled with water. Watch your step.
Guys, this is sanitary. That's what happens when you run your business on a video screen.
This was a major health code violation which could land both the bar and Shui in trouble. He immediately shut the kitchen down and ordered the staff to not serve any more food from this filthy kitchen. In an attempt to reinstill responsibility, Taffer asked Shui to mop the floor, but this led to an even bigger disaster. She ended up knocking down the bucket and soapy liquid was spilled everywhere. Later on, expert mixologist Phil Wills trained the bartenders and prepared them for the upcoming stress test. Meanwhile, Taffer explained to Shui that she needed to train her staff a little better and asked her to keep a handle on the day-to-day activities of the bar. This is what would help save her bar and not drinking with customers and looking at CCTV footage. However, one thing that Taffer did appreciate is that she mopped the kitchen and the two somewhat made up. Unlike most bar owners who instantly disliked Taffer, this one was at least trying to mend things. From there on, Shui's behavior towards her staff changed and she became more patient and respectful. Soon after, the renovations began and the menus were updated. The bar rescue team installed everything from scratch, including the wooden bar top and cozy sofas. In the end, the bar appeared to be a chic setting for socializing and was way more welcoming than ever. Soon after the renovations were done, Taffer and his team decided to change the name of the bar to something more fitting towards its location and customers. It was renamed to the Off-Base Bar, and everyone was so happy with the name that they decided to keep it. In the end, Shui was so grateful to Taffer and his team for their help, and she was pumped about the bar's future. Just like how we're pumped to make more videos for you. Since you've made it this far into the video, why not drop a massive like down below and subscribe if you haven't already? Plus, it's free, so why not just do it? Anyway, let's get back into the video. According to the show's producers, food sales increased by 39% 6 weeks after the rescue. They also decided to capitalize on the views of the show by using Taffer in their promo videos. They would also often have DJs come in and play live music, which definitely boosted their sales. Shui managed to keep her business afloat until September of 2022, which is when the bar finally closed down for good. So, do you know any other owners who desperately needed Taffer's help? Let us know in the comment section down below. Thanks for watching, guys!